Hello everybody, this is Ogre Boy, and I'm going to be doing my review for the 1993 movie Leprechaun. In a couple of my Facebook groups that I'm in, Horror Enthusiast 101 and Movie Talk and Reviews, I had both posted a poll to see which movie franchise I've reviewed next out of this one and Psycho. And the Leprechaun franchise won barely, just by 1 point between the two groups. So I'm going to go ahead and start reviewing all of these movies. So I'll go ahead and get started with this one. The first movie is written and directed by Mark Jones, and this movie follows Tori, who is a young woman moving into a house with her father, and they don't know it, but they're 10 years before, the guy who owned the house, named O'Grady, had stolen some gold when he was in Ireland, I think, and a leprechaun is trying to find him and get his gold back, and he locks the leprechaun in a crate with a 4-leaf clover on top of it so he can't escape. And one of the people working on their house, helping paint it, opens the crate, and the leprechaun gets loose and goes on a killing spree trying to find his gold. This is a pretty decent movie. It's not one of my most favorite slasher movies, but it was one I did watch a couple times as a kid and everything, so I do have a little bit of nostalgia for it, not a lot. It's never been one of my most favorites, though. But Warwick Davis is great as the Leprechaun, though. He's absolutely perfect in the role and everything, but he's not really creepy at all. When I was a kid, I thought he was a lot creepier than I do now, because now I just think he's more silly than creepy and everything. And there are some pretty good kills in here, like especially with the pogo stick kill. That was a really good one. And the kill where he gets the cop is really pretty good. But this movie doesn't have as many kills as I remembered it to. It only had like maybe 2 or 3. But he was a pretty good character. But Warwick Davis does a pretty good job playing him. Tori is played by Jennifer Aniston in her movie debut. I thought she was pretty decent in here. I know a lot of people don't really like her in this movie and have said that this is probably her worst movie. I don't know that I would say that, but I definitely would agree that this isn't one of her best. I haven't seen a whole bunch of her movies, though. For a long time I did try to keep up with her, but I've kind of lost track of her movies, so now, this one might be one of my least favorites, but I don't know that I'd say it's necessarily bad and everything. I know that she personally doesn't like this movie, which I think is kind of sad. I hate when actors who get their start in horror movies go against the movies that they started out in. I don't know why. It just really kind of bothers me. I can understand, though. This isn't like a great movie, but I mean, it did start her career. Ken Olant plays Nathan, who is pretty much her love interest. Sorry. He's good enough. His acting isn't extremely great. And, like, there's parts where his leg is supposed to be hurt and everything, and like there will be moments in it where he's limping and everything, and then there's times when he's not, and it's like it was really noticeable. I don't think I ever noticed it before this time, but it's really weird. But I think he was decent enough as a character, though. Mark Holton plays Ozzy, who's kind of like a standout character. In fact, I think that he's comes back in Leprechaun Returns, which I have not seen yet. But I'm really looking forward to seeing it because of him coming back. But I really like him. He's a really likable character. The actor who plays him, Mark Holton, is not the best actor, but he's not really terrible either. He does a decent enough job, and he brings a likability to the character and everything. He kind of reminds me of John Goodman for some reason, like a younger version of him. I don't know why he reminds me of him so much, but he does. And Robert Hyde Gorman plays Alex, who's this 13 or 14-year-old kid who's good friends with Ozzy, and he's Nathan's brother, and he's the one that tries to help Ozzy hide the gold and everything, because they're planning on trying to become rich off of it. And Ozzy accidentally swallows a piece of gold, which is really weird. Like, why would you swallow it? But yeah, he's alright too. He kind of overacts a little bit, but he's alright. But all the casts are decent enough in here. And the special effects they use on the kills are pretty decent, and the makeup effects on Warwick Davis are really, really good. I mean, he is pretty unrecognizable as Leprechaun. I mean, you can tell kind of by his voice, but like, they did a good job. With his makeup and stuff, and like his energy in this movie is really, really good. He's like really fast and everything, but it is kind of funny watching like really big people running away from him, because he's like so small and everything, and the way he runs is funny. But I think this movie was pretty decent. Some of the humor lands, some of it is really cheesy and cringy, but for the most part this is a decent movie, and it's one that I really enjoyed a lot as a kid. I don't like it quite as much as I used to, though. It's a little bit too cheesy and everything. It doesn't have that 80s cheesy feel to it, which, because this movie came out in the 90s, it didn't feel like a cheesy 80s movie, which to me the 80s horror movies were a lot better, even if they were really cheesy. This one was just alright. It's not like I wouldn't say it's a masterpiece or anything, but I wouldn't say it's like a piece of crap either. It's a fun movie, but it's not like a great movie. I will say that Kevin Kiner's score was really good too. I thought it brought a really good eeriness and kind of a playfulness to it too. The score was really good. Now, I think this was just an alright movie. I'd say I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10. Not extremely great movie, but it's definitely not as bad as some people say it is. I know a lot that the Leprechaun movies are either you love them or hate them, and I don't love or hate it. I like it, but I don't think it's like they're like the best franchise. I haven't really seen a lot of other ones in this franchise besides this one, and I know I've seen at least a couple other ones. I can't remember for sure which ones. Besides, one of them was Back to the Hood, but I don't remember for sure which ones I've seen. But let me know in the comments what you think of Leprechaun, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.
This is the song that doesn't end. Yes, it goes on and on, my friend.
That's enough, guys.
Some people started singing it, not knowing what it was, and they'll continue singing it forever just because this is the song.